What is up, you guys, and welcome to the Upper 90 YouTube soccer channel. Today, we're talking about which Chelsea player is going to win the Euros because one Chelsea player will be lifting the trophy. So stick around as we talk about which player that will be. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Mike, huge Chelsea fan, which is why we are talking about which Chelsea player will be lifting the Euros at the end of this week. Now, obviously, we have multiple Chelsea players still left in this tournament. There are 4 teams, and each team themselves have a Chelsea player, which is why at least one Chelsea player will be lifting the cup at the end of this week. Now, let's talk about the players that we have for each team. So first, let's start with England. So we have Mason Mount, Reece James, and Ben Chilwell on that team. Denmark, we have Andre Christensen. For Spain, we have our captain Azpilicueta. And for Italy, we actually have 2 players that some people forget. We have Emerson and Jorginho. So out of all those players, let's talk about which players and which team are most likely going to win this tournament. Now, obviously, England is a bit more on the heavier side, beating Denmark. It seems more likely than any other team making the finals. Not saying Denmark will be easy for England at all due to the fact that they have massive size. They have a lot of heart and passion right now. And they are a team that just seem to be unstoppable, scoring a lot of goals, taking a lot of shots on target. And this might be the time that England finally let up a goal. Now, England by themselves have been very defensively and I think can hold off Denmark and all the attacks. It's if they will be able to score first, because Southgate's style is to kind of sit back, hit them on a counter, score quickly, and then absorb a lot of the attacks. And therefore, it depends on who scores first in that game. And like I said, I'm favoring more towards England in that game. Not saying England have an easy road against Denmark and then in the finals, because on the opposite side, we have Spain versus Italy. Now, out of those 2 teams, either team can definitely win that game, depending on who shows up for that match. And I think Italy are the better team right now. But overall, they may still struggle. They lost one of their key players, and I think that may have an issue for how well this team operates. And Spain themselves have been having issues with how well they play. They can play phenomenal. They can also play terrible. And again, it depends which team shows up. Now, Azpilicueta, for him, he is a winner, and I think he'll start again for Spain. He didn't start the first game in the group stages, but since then he's been starting each and every game, and he's looked really solid, holding that defensive line along with the other defenders. And I think Spain can possibly stop Italy, but overall, Italy's just been on another level. They've been just going at each team, been able to score at will. And I think they're going to possibly score fairly quickly against Spain and dictate this whole game. And therefore, I see Jorginho, who's been starting for Italy, and Emerson make it into the final. So therefore, those 2 players, Emerson and Jorginho, will most likely play Reece James, Ben Chilwell, and Mason Mount. Now, obviously, out of those, Mason Mount's probably going to be the only starter of those, but still, that gives us a good opportunity to see multiple Chelsea players win this trophy, which I think will speak volumes for how great that club actually is, due to the fact they have so many players still left in this tournament. Now, anything can still happen. Denmark could make it. Spain could make it. Any of those teams could definitely make it, but let it be known that at least one Chelsea player is winning the Euros, which, yes, is a good thing and a bad thing, because obviously that's going to give a lot of momentum to whichever player or players win the tournament, but it's going to give them less time to actually rest up, get back to the Chelsea camp, start working with the rest of the team, Tuchel, get the philosophies down, and really start working on the upcoming season. Now, yes, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because obviously you want to see players win, but obviously we're cheering for Chelsea, so we want to have Chelsea have the best squad and season going forward. So depending on who comes back may hinder and disrupt the upcoming season. But overall, I think Thomas Tuchel knows what he's doing. We still haven't brought all our signings in, which who knows who could still come in. We actually may have more players that win the Euros that still can come in from different teams such as Italy and Spain. And I think that will make a huge difference. So that is all I have for you today. Comment down below who you think is going to win the Euros for Chelsea. if it's going to be Mason Mount, Reece James, Ben Chilwell, if it's going to be Christensen, or possibly Azpilicueta, Jorginho, or Emerson, comment down below. And if you haven't, make sure to subscribe down below as well. And I greatly appreciate that. That means a lot. Helps the YouTube algorithm, gets this video to more and more people, more and more Chelsea fans and soccer fans out there. So thank you very much, and we will see you next time.